So we're here this evening at Bell's Canyon Reservoir in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we got a kind of a fairly cloudy evening. Definitely have some decent potential for a good sunset light. We're hoping for that magic light. Whether it comes or not, we're gonna walk away with a keeper for sure. We chose this location. Basically, we've got quite a bit to work with here in terms of compositional elements. We've got some water. We've got some nice harsh shoreline here where the water has cut away, giving us nice leading lines. We've got some great reflective surfaces where whether we get that magic light or not, we can work it with a golden blue polarizer. And in addition, we have options as to whether we'll shoot into or away from the sun. We've got some great mountaintops and ridge lines back there that if for some reason we do get great sunset light, they'll be receiving that nice warm light. If for some reason we don't have breaks in the clouds and the clouds light up with color, we have a location where we can actually shoot into the sun and capture that color in the clouds. So when I'm looking for a sunset or a sunrise location, I'm trying to give myself options. I want a plan A and a plan B and a plan C if I can actually come up with it. But I definitely want to have options so I can work with the weather and the conditions that I'm giving. It's key as a photographer to be able to adapt to the environment in which you're shooting. And sometimes they're split-second decisions. And those decisions are made a lot easier if you've considered the options beforehand. A big part of giving yourself options is pre-visualization of your shot. Thinking about the types of images you want to create. So if you know the location that you're going to be shooting from, if you're familiar with it, think in your mind maybe the evening before and as you're driving to the location, the types of images you're hoping to create. That way, when you get to the location and those opportunities present themselves, you'll be much more in tune with that opportunity. You will recognize that much more instantly as the type of shot that you were looking to get. If I'm doing a sunrise shoot, many times the night before the shoot, my brain is just clicking away, thinking of the types of images I'm going to shoot, how I'm going to handle the potentially diverse conditions that may present themselves. So the more thought that you can dedicate to the images that you're going to capture, the better chance you have of walking away with a keeper. I think the more that you shoot in diverse conditions, the more you realize that great images don't come from happenstance. They require forethought, they require planning. Of course, they're going to benefit from a little bit of luck, and they also benefit from a knowledge of how to use the tools that are going to help you to capture the conditions best. So as you look through the lens here, and I'm using live view on this camera, you can twist it and see the effects that are taking place with the golden blue, from gold to kind of a more faded gold, to a blue, to a more intense blue. And as you twist that, you can kind of decide what you like best. So as I'm twisting it here, you know, I'm gonna try my first shot with a fairly intense gold hue to that water. The next key part of this image is balancing the sky with the 3-stop Reverse ND Grad. Because we're shooting wide angle here, we really need to be careful that we don't get our fingertips in the frame. So definitely pay attention to your LCD when you're reviewing your image. So the way I hold this when I do this is I take the camera and put it right up against the front element here. You slide it down so we can see kind of right where we want that transition line. You can see as you move it up and down, it's really helpful with live view. You can kind of see the changes that are taking place. And then I actually grab the other part of the filter with this trigger finger that's on my cable release. And so I really am able to keep my fingers out of here. And then we're simply just going to click the shutter, review the shot right there. We can see that I'm pretty pleased with the results we're getting there. We are losing a little bit of detail in those mountains and trees that are jutting across the horizon. It's such an insignificant part of this image, I don't really care. You got to decide there's certain parts of your image that you're going to have to sacrifice, and what we want is the sky and this foreground stream. So we're going to shoot one more just like this, slide it down over. Make sure and keep our fingers out of the frame. Want to make sure you're covering that entire front element. Okay. The golden blue polarizer is somewhat unpredictable, which is part of the reason it's so fun to shoot with. We're going to go ahead and twist it here, and I'm going to do a little bit less intense shade of gold. All right. We're gonna go ahead right here, slide that Reverse ND Grad right there. All right, so just to actually demonstrate the difference of shooting with and without the Reverse ND Grad filter and with and without the Golden Blue Polarizer, we're actually going to shoot some images here without those actual tools so you can see the difference that it makes. Here we're just going to go ahead and shoot an image with the Golden Blue Polarizer minus the Reverse ND Grad. So what you're going to notice here is we're still going to have some nice color on the water, but our sky is going to be pretty washed out. All right, so now we're going to remove the Golden Blue Polarizer here. I'm going to adjust this exposure just slightly. And here we go, there's our shot without the Golden Blue Polarizer, and literally it is lifeless. So we're really creating our own magic here, which especially when it comes to assignment photography and commercial photography, and a client needs an image regardless of the conditions you're given, you really have to make lemonade out of lemons. You really have to play the game with the cards that you're dealt. So having an understanding of these tools is going to give you a greater latitude to come home with a keeper regardless of what you go out with.